Hello, Phil Human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo / ChoosingBeggars videos. Do you guys use laptop to play video games and do your work in general? Or you would prefer to use a desktop instead? The first story is by Healing Jean Vra. Free laptop blows up in my face. So my husband and I have made a habit of gifting our friends with items when we upgrade to something newer. This has never been an issue in the past. Hell, one of our neighbors, whom we have been friends with for the last decade or so, has been on the receiving end many times. Anytime we've gotten a new Xbox One or TV, he's always been our first to go to. He's always been super grateful. Well, this year has been a bit different as we decided to upgrade our laptops, which our neighbor doesn't use. We have 2 gaming laptops, but just wanted to upgrade to newer ones. So we gave one to one friend and the other to someone we knew. Now, one was in perfect condition as I didn't have much time to really enjoy it. My husband though needs either new battery or new charging cord. Other than that issue, the laptops were identical. Our friend super stoked said that he didn't care which one we gave him and the other person wasn't so happy about it. AF, male, awesome friend. CB, female, less thrilled person. Whatever you want to call me. AF, well, thank you so much. I've not had a computer in a while, so it will be great to get back online. Me, no problem. Rather give them to friends and sell them if possible. CB, well, I don't want the one that is broken, so I'll take the other one. Me, all it needs is a new charger or battery. CB, well, I want the other one as it has no issues. If you want me to take the other one, then you'll need to fix it first. AF, I don't care which one I get if it makes it easier. I'll take the one that needs fixed. I can save up and get what I needed in a week or 2. Me, the whole point of this is to give you both with a laptop. CB, we're giving it to you for free. It's not a major issue with it, being a battery or charging cable, and I can easily install the battery. This was an interior style battery. It will still turn on and work as long as it's plugged in. It just won't charge currently. CB, I don't want to be restricted with cords, and this is just BS that you refuse to fix the issue with the laptop. Just shows how cheap you're going to be. Then CB tries to grab the other laptop and leave. Needless to say, I kicked her out without the laptop. Other words were exchanged in the process, but geez, I was just trying to help her out. My husband and I had even discussed getting a new battery and charging cable for it as a surprise, but hadn't even had time to bring that part up. Needless to say, I'm going to find someone else who will actually appreciate it. AF though stayed for about 12 hours or so after and constantly is over at our house, which we enjoy fully. He's asking tons of questions on how to make sure to keep it in the best shape possible. Well, a gaming laptop can cost easily over $1,000. Even if the battery is dead, it will still cost a lot. Well, you're lost, Choosy beggar. We have here the second story written by u/Lo-Fi Cusco. No sir, those aren't free. This happened this morning at the library I work at. In our lobby, we have a bookshelf filled with free items from our catalog, books, DVDs, audiobook, that the public can take home and keep. The stuff on the shelf is stuff we removed from our catalog because it hasn't been checked out in years. This guy comes in and tries to get the stuff not on the free shelf for free. The following is the conversation we had. Me equals to me. CB equals to choosing beggar. CB, hey, so that free shelf out there, how does it work? Me, okay, so basically any item on that shelf can be taken home by any patron. There's no limit on how many items a patron can take home, and they don't have to be returned to the library, it's for you to keep. CB, oh well, that's good, I got these off the shelf. He shows me some books and DVDs. Me, oh, that's good, glad you found something you like. CB, actually, I don't like any of these. Me, oh, sorry. CB, yeah, I noticed you had some Percy Jackson books and the Avengers Endgame on Blu-ray. Can I have those instead? Me, I'm sorry? CB, can I take those home and keep them instead? Me, sorry sir, you cannot. However, you can check them out with your library card and keep them until the due date. CB, well, I want to keep them. Why can't I keep them? Me, sir, you can't keep those items because they are not on the free shelf. Items on the free shelf are items that rarely or never get checked out. Percy Jackson and Avengers Endgame are extremely popular. If they're not on hold, they're on the shelf for a few hours before someone else check them out. CB, well, I don't want the crap I took from the free shelf. Me, well, that's fine, sir. You don't have to take them. We'll put them back on the free shelf for you. Also, please don't cuss. We have children in the building. CB, this docking sucks. My taxes pay for the library, so I should be able to take what I want. Me, yeah, and my taxes pay for the roads? But I just can't take a chunk of the road and say, my taxes paid for this and take it with me. Also again, please stop cussing. If you want to check out the items you requested, you're free to do that. CB, man, whatever. I just came in to print some stuff for work. CB left to go to use computer. A coworker told me he didn't want to pay the fee to print his documents. It was 60 cents. Sad face. The saddest part of all is that CB is actually an adult, not a 12 years old. What a cheapskate man-child he is. Next up, we have the third story shared by u/AnoTpox. I need your truck for a different kind of test drive. This just happened last week. I still can't believe this guy. I recently upgraded my car, so I'm selling my 2004 GMC Sierra in a really good condition for $3 grand. It's been smog checked and worked on recently. Everything is solid. I've had people text me, what is the lowest you'll take? Over and over for about a month until this guy came along. We'll call him Frank for the sake of this story. Frank's called in at 11:30 p.m. one day telling me he needs a truck as soon as possible. He says he doesn't have time to waste and he wants to meet ASAP. I asked him if he could wait until the next morning, but he kept insisting that he needed it as soon as possible. Alright, so I called my university security office, who are close friends of mine, and let them know I'll be meeting someone for a possible vehicle sale on campus. They're happy to stand by as I talk to Frank. 15 minutes later, I pull into the parking lot and Frank is standing there next to a beach cruiser bike. He tells me he just biked across town to meet me there. As I approach him, he introduces himself and proceeds to waste 20 minutes telling me about how his family came from Colombia, yada yada yada, then asks for the keys. I give him the keys and he starts the engine, inspects it, pulls the dipstick, and checks all around. Frank doesn't find anything else for another 10 or so minutes of checking everything for a second time. Frank then approaches me and tells me he needs me to pick him up the next morning at his apartment and drive him and the truck over to his mechanic, which will charge me $400 to do an inspection for him. I tell him no, and that if he wants to do an inspection, he's welcome to bring a mechanic with him or at least pay for an inspection. At this point, Frank gets upset and starts raising his voice, telling me I'm some kind of scammer trying to sell him junk. I politely tell him I'm happy to take the truck to wherever he wants as long as he pays for the inspection and it's within the city limits. He finally agrees, but I still must pick him up the next day. At this point, I just want to sell this truck, so I agreed. Next day comes along and I pick him up, and while on the way, there he tells me the buying process is taking too long and the most he will pay is $2 grand. I tell him $2,500 is the lowest I will take. He doesn't seem happy. We talk a bit more before he changes the subject and tells me he's moving to a city 3 hours away and needs to use the truck as a test drive to move his stuff on that same day. I look at him thinking he's joking, and he proceeds to ask me, "Can you fill up the tank?" I excitedly tell him, "Sure thing." We don't talk much more until we get to his mechanic. As soon as he gets out to greet his buddy, I drive out of the parking lot and head home. Frank is about to learn how to use public transportation. Don't be like Frank. Oh dang, Opie played that so cool. This is like asking Apple Store for iPhone 11 to test it for a few months. Moving on to the fourth story shared by u/Rory like memes. My son deserved the fix for free. I run a computer fixing business in my high school. People come to me for all their electronic repairs because I only charge for the parts and 10 to 15 pounds depends on the job for labor costs. One of my teacher even asked me to fix her laptop once. Anyway, into the part you want to see. I was fixing an iPhone SE at lunch, and this kid in the first year asked me how much it would cost for me to fix his gaming PC. I asked him what was wrong with it, and he said he got a virus and the chassis was broke. I then asked him which kind of case I would replace it with, and he said one that was around 30 to 40 pounds, the Aero Cool Bolt Mini to be specific. I told him I would do it for 50 pounds. He says that is too much, and he would only pay me 10 pounds. I said I would fix the virus for that amount, but then he shouted at me. Because it's just a stupid case. He stormed away, and I blew it off and continued working on the phone. The next day, I was walking out of school when this lady, who looked to be in her early 40s, she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, why?" "I'm EK's mother." I say, "Oh, are you asking about the repair?" I quoted him for 50 pounds, but if you can buy the case from somewhere, I can do it for 15. She then said in the typical Choosing Beggars whiny tone, "Well, you should do it for free because you were rude to him." I then told her that I only refused because I would have been losing money. That's when she erupts. "This is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to pay for that. You're his friends and should have given him the fix for free." I interrupt her and say, "Listen, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm not his friend. He just asked me about the repair and I told him the price. If you or him aren't happy with that, then you can find someone else to do it." She then shouted that she was going to tell the school's headmaster that I was rude to a parent and that I'm running a business during school hours. Sadly for her, my headmaster already knew that I was done repairs and even lent me a screwdriver kit once. He would also believe me about the whole being rude thing cause he knows that I don't cause trouble. Nothing much else happens afterwards. The headmaster asked me about it because she complained, and then I told him what happened. He fully understood because this lady was known to cause a fuss when she didn't get her way. For example, on parents' evening, she didn't book any appointments and then shouted at the headmaster when there was no free slots. He told me that everything was fine and gave me a lollipop from the jar on his desk, so everything worked out in the end. I'm in my last year of high school, by the way, before anyone asked. Smiley face. Hell yeah, free lollipop and a slap to CB's face. Stonks. The fifth story is shared by u/Amy1111. Choosy Beggar demands a free Mercedes to take her to the shops. Bit of background, I work in an office or call center for a mid-sized local taxi firm. The job is answering phone calls for bookings and answering the emails sent to the customer service. It's a fairly good business and the cars used there are Prius for the standard service, 8-seater minibus, and Mercedes cars for executive service usually used for big corporate clients. Anyway, at the beginning of the COVID-19 lockdown, when I was in furlough, there was an email sent through from a woman and the title was, "No reply to my previous email." Anyway, I thought this was someone complaining about service and was wondering why nobody had answered her before, thinking it was probably a mistake. Nope. As soon as I opened it up, I saw that she was demanding that we upgrade her to a Mercedes for the trouble she had been through, and I found her previous emails. Sometimes we upgrade people if they have had a problem with the previous driver or the journey broke down or whatever. It's to keep the customers happy if their service hasn't been great before. It turns out that she was a hard-up single mom needing a free or heavily discounted ride to the shop that is about 5 miles away. She said that this was because she couldn't get a delivery slot and also couldn't take her kids on the bus. However, she obviously was not short of money, as the shop that she chose to go to a reasonably expensive market, Waitrose, instead of the 3 cheaper shops that were in between there and her house, Aldi, Asda, and Tesco. My boss, being a bit softy, had given her a heavy discount, so she ended up paying around that same price as the bus fare would have cost when it would usually have been about 5 times of that. Say, £3 for a 15-pound journey. However, according to her, the driver had almost made a wrong turn and she felt that this warranted an upgrade for her return journey, which was already booked in for a regular car, again, heavily discounted, and around 10 minutes from when I got the email. I emailed her back and said that this would not be possible. About 30 minutes later, I got a call from the driver asking not to be put on her job again as she had kicked off when he got to the shop in a Prius. She shouted and swore at the driver, and the worst thing was that when I checked the footage in the car, she didn't have the kids with her, so she was just straight up lying. Later that day, she called up and complained, journeyed to the shops for next week, and I told her that she would have to find another taxi service and promptly added her number to the blocked list. Later that day, she called up to complain, journeyed to the shops for next week, and I told her that she would have to find another taxi service and promptly added her number to the blocked list. Well, good on you for blocking her number. Hope you'll never have to deal with her ever again. On to the sixth story, something is wrong with the food trade. So a few years back, when I was a student, I used to have a part-time job in a restaurant, and oh boy, I never would have believed how people would actually behave. I could tell you a million stories of people asking for free stuff, but I want to share the story of one specific family. So you have mom, dad, grandma, and 2 children. They would come to said restaurant at least once every week, so you would think they were in love with the place, wouldn't you? Haha! Every single time, they would order the same dishes. All the waiters knew their order by heart at some point, and every single time they would come up with the exact same complaints about their food. I could not help but ask myself why on earth they kept ordering the same things since it was clear that they did not like it. Well, this was in fact their smart way of getting free stuff. So they would eat half of the food, then decide something was wrong with it. Of course, they asked for a new dish and demanded they did not pay. So they would literally have a portion and half and not pay for it, and most of the times they would only end up paying for the drinks and side dishes. Also, it was a lot of food, so they would ask to take it home. Lunch for the next day sorted. They literally saved hundreds on food. One day, a friend of mine was in the restaurant. She used to work in a different restaurant at the time. She recognized his family and said they would go to her restaurant every weekend and do the same trick. How can you be like that? And yes, I know it was the manager's fault for not taking any action, as it was obvious that they were faking the whole something is wrong with the food thing. I guess reviews on TripAdvisors were more important. Well, the second time they did it, they should have been banned for life. But they were still able to do this all thanks to the restaurant owner or the manager enabled them. Well, on to the final story shared by u/SBA-She5. You have 4 Switches, I deserve at least 1. This past Christmas, my 2 sons each got a Switch, one from grandma and one from my wife and me. My daughter already had one from her birthday last year, and I bought one for my wife and I during a tax season before the pandemic quarantine started. During quarantine, we've been doing a lot of cleaning and going through things to get rid of. We just so happened to find our Wii and the few games we had. Right before we were about to post it for sale online, my wife's sister gives her a call. Sister-in-law, hey, so we've been stuck in the house for a long time. I've been going to Target and Walmart looking online, but do you all have any old games or video games we could have just until this quarantine is over? My wife, just a matter of fact, we just found our Wii. You guys can have it. It has Wii Sport, Mario, and even a princess game that our niece would like. You can pick it up if you come this way. Sister-in-law, oh, well, I was thinking cause you guys all have Switches, maybe the boys can share and let us have one. Wife, no, those were gifts. And they get to play when they're done with their schoolwork. I know 4 is a lot, but they all get actively used. What happened next was my sister-in-law going on a huge rant about how we're greedy and selfish, and how she's an essential worker, I'm 2 right now, and she deserved 1, if not 2, of our Switches. Because that way, my niece can play and her husband and her can play as well. We once again tell her that she can have the Wii for free, but no, she kept insisting on the Switch, and how we can forget about ever hearing from her again. My wife didn't even argue back, she just told her no, and said that she was posting the Wii for pickup, and if she wanted it, she could come and get it. After posting the free Wii, that led to a new bunch of choosing beggar activity, but I'm done for now. I love how OP encountered just too many choosing beggars in his life that he's just done. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.